Mark, I wanted to ask you a question. I know I texted you about this a little bit, and you may say, "Oh, I don't really have an answer for you." But have you noticed anything about the idea of story influencing every aspect of your everyday life? I'm talking about from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. Have you seen story play a role in that, or what have you been observing?
Yeah, I had the opportunity to read a book recently that was given to me by a friend, and it talked about how people at their core are more, we love things more than we think things. So we are function more based on what we love than what we think. Oftentimes, when you go throughout your day, you're on autopilot. You're not consciously being like, I am going to eat this for lunch. You get to lunch and you're like, what do I want for lunch? I really want that. Okay, go. They talked about that in the context of your spiritual life and how it's like your spiritual life is actually about God retraining your loves, like the things that you really do love. And how he does that is he invites you to be restoried. He invites you into a different narrative than the narrative that the world offers. So it was talking about that and how specifically how worship plays a role in that. In like every day, every time you go to church, that's what you're doing is you're playing a character in the restoring process that God is doing in your heart. And so it was just an encouragement along those lines to like look for that. So look for opportunities for what the world tells you about yourself. So they might say you're a consumer, but what God tells you is you're actually a human being created in the image of God. Oftentimes, a lot of the things that we run into is because we are either being a character in the wrong story or we're acting in the story that God has for us in the wrong way. So that was kind of interesting. And that's really changed my perspective of like when I, like you said, when I wake up trying to figure out, okay, what role do I play in the story that God has for me today that is ultimately his story? So that's been something that I feel like has been helpful. And again, just from that book.